There are some amazing ways to deal more damage in Once Human, AFK farm acid and fuel, get your hands on mods fast, or even target farm specific deviants, collectors, and so much more. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is 4am back with a new Once Human guide in which I'm going to show you 10 essentials to make your life so much easier in the endgame. From getting your hands on the best weapon upgrades and unlimited cyphers to unlock everything for your base, to farms you want to have set up and ready as quick as possible, fuel, deviant farms, etc. So let's get right to it. One of the most important things you want to be doing as quick as possible when you reach somewhat the end game in Once Human is maximizing your main weapon's damage with calibrations. And this specific type of calibration is something the game doesn't really tell you. I mean, you can craft weapons of all sorts of tiers right here, repair them, and also calibration, where you can simply spend resources to increase the damage output and also add some extra bonuses to it. While these are hard baked into the item, so you can't really change these. The range plus 12, accuracy plus 6 is something not amazing. But if you replace the calibration attributes, you can actually use a blueprint which you came across during your adventures to further boost these stats. Check this one out. 2 times weak spot damage and also the rapid shot style. Critical strike rate and critical strike damage increased, so also a much more interesting one compared to the hard-baked standard one on this weapon. So if you're running high-level dungeons, be sure to check out all the gear you come across. So if you want to extract these from your items, you simply want to visit the disassembly bench, check out all the weapons with this blueprint icon right next to it, select those, and voila! Also for the sniper rifle, we now get all sorts of blueprints which we can use for future recalibrations. There is something which I think is pretty overpowered. While everyone should be using this right here, as man, it can literally give you all the upgrades for your base you will ever need. Look at this logistics tab, for example. If we scroll down right here, you can see that I currently don't have any points invested in Wish Machine or Vending Machine. While if we look behind me, well, this is where we can find it. If we open up the door and jump downstairs, well, there we have it, our Vending Machine. If I open up the building menu and check out these things, you can see that the blueprints are locked. So unfortunately, I can't place them. But if I invest some points in them, then go and check them out, I can actually slap them down on the ground. Now, if we go back to the Memetics tab and check out the logistics and get rid of the vending machine by resetting the Memetic, we will get that refund of our Memetic points. Of course, we can't place a new one, but that's not necessary in the first place. Be sure to do this for pretty much anything you can have in your base. I mean, if we walk downstairs right here, you can see that I currently have 20 securement silos for my deviations, while in the Memetics tab itself, also in logistics, I decided to get rid of the securement unit expansion 1 and 2 because in total this also saves me 10 of these points. Advanced generators right here. This is where you can pick up the advanced solar generator. If I get rid of all these Memetic upgrades, now I have a total of 39, while if we look around in my base, I still have them in every corner, so I don't have to worry about basically losing these upgrades. I can still use them in my base as long as I don't get rid of them. Of course, advanced ammunition is something you're going to be crafting all the time, so these type of memetics can't really be reset. While right now I still have that 39, which I can assign to pretty much anything I want. For example, the fertilizers 2 and 3, and maybe go for something else as well. We already talked about an amazing way how you can maximize the damage output of your weapon. But what if I told you that the mods you use on it, as well as your armor, can make an even bigger difference? For example, the sniper build which I'm running, can be found at the top right of the screen by the way, instantly refreshes its ammo on kill. So I never have to manually reload my sniper, I can just keep going ham on my enemies. This specific mod is called Reload Rampage, specifically for bottoms. But of course, if you want to have a best in slot mod for every single set part, well, you're gonna have to spend quite some time on researching where exactly you can find them. Well, this is where the Once Human community comes in, as people constantly do research about pretty much everything you want to know about the game. A big shout out to Doomeris who created this list for specifically all the different mods you can find during your adventures. For my specific build, I want to search for weak spot damage. So we're just going to Ctrl F, type in weak spot, and now we can find all the different mods with this specific bonus. Or for example, if we type in Rampage, we can find that Reload Rampage mod right here in the Silo Psi. So if we open up the map and zoom out a little bit, you can see that we're currently in the Red Sands area. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where you can find Silo Psi. And voila, that's where you can farm for Pants mods, or specifically the Reload Rampage. Again, a big shout out to Doomeris for making this document. I will add it in the description. Be sure to also check out his channel for more Once Human. Anyways, let's move on to the next topic, infinite fuel for your vehicle, as we all know how terrible it is to farm cars for the portable mixed fuel, which actually can be done pretty much AFK. If you get your hands on, of course, a couple of water pump upgrades, power these bad boys up, which will search for barreled crude oil. You can see that my base is located on top of these oil spills, which can be found in the new Red Sands biome. So you want to search for these dark spills on the map and settle your base right there, as your water pumps will simply pump up this crude fuel. Now, if you use that Memetics or Cypher upgrade strategy, which I talked about earlier, you can basically get your hands on all the upgrades you will ever need, including the refining facility, with which you can convert this barreled crude oil into portable mixed fuel, used of course to fuel your engines. But what if I told you that there is an even better way to do this with this super refinery, which I currently have set up and ready in my base? As you can see, for this one, we don't even need the portable mixed fuel. Instead, we simply throw acid in there and bam, it turns into the portable mixed fuel itself. This one, slightly more difficult to get your hands on, but in my opinion, essential for your base. Search for the one called Super Refinery, as this one unlocks the new facility, Super Refinery, which transforms acid into the portable mixed fuel also more efficiently, so you don't even have to focus on getting your hands on that crude oil, which actually costs a whole lot of power, which you can otherwise use much better for different upgrades inside your base. But acid, isn't that also a precious resource in the game? That is 100% correct, while there are already many different ways how you can farm this, also efficiently. But this is probably the best way to get your hands on acid AFK without having to do anything, really, other than getting your hands on some basic resources. Go check out the Memetic upgrades, specializations, and search for this one called Sulfur Chemist. It unlocks a new formula with which you can use sulfur and energy links at the synthesis bench to slowly produce acid. You first want to pick up the synthesis bench, of course, in the crafting menu. I even decided to upgrade it to advanced. With the cipher trick I talked about earlier, not only this, but it also gives us access to Eclipse Cortex level 3, probably the best thing to make Starchrom in the game. We're going to talk more about that in a second, but if we scroll down right here, look at that. This is where we can throw in the sulfur and energy links and start producing acid. With a regular synthesis bench, you're only going to have one queue completing at the same time. Well, right now we do this twice as fast and basically make acid while we sleep. This is how I never ever have to farm for fuel. I can simply make this run 24/7 inside my base and then afterwards into the super refinery to get an infinite amount of portable mixed fuel. Next up, I have an amazing farm for you guys to literally get your hands on all the access cards you will ever need to open up hidden treasures inside dungeons, but also find cortices of high level to basically make a ton of Starchrom inside your base. So we're currently dealing with a pack of bad guys. Wow, this guy was really standing in the way, but this is the one we need in the first place. A Rosetta Bruiser, which gives us a nice Cortex of level 1 or 2, and a Rosetta V2 access card. This guy can be found only a couple meters away from a teleportation tower, and every now and then he also drops level 2, sometimes even 3 Cortices. Right now, what we can do is switch to the world, Go to World 2 and bam, this basically resets the zone or brings us to another phase where we of course have a chance of encountering players, while this place is very low profile and I barely ever see people crossing these parts. If you simply hop from one phase to the next, you can basically farm this Rosetta Bruiser as much as you like. And look at that, this time it dropped as a Cortex level 2 and also that V2 access card. Let's quickly check it out on the map. We're currently right next to Securement Silo Alpha, also one of these bigger pylons, let's say, in the western part of the world called Chalk Peak. So the teleportation tower right here, if we interact with it and let's say go to World 3 right now, this will once again change the phase or world we're in, and since nobody else is farming this spot, we can simply keep farming these mobs. I've been doing this strategy for like 30 minutes earlier today, and look at how many Rosetta V2 access cards I got my hands on. A whole lot of Cortices as well, while this is not the only reason why you want to be doing this specific farm. You can actually use it to also target farm, for example, Deviants. So let's just quickly skip this pack of mobs, which we can find right here, and instantly drive inside, as this specific location also serves as a respawn point for one of my favorite Deviants to basically boost my damage output or weak spot damage with snipers. Unfortunately, it's not here right now, but if I open up my inventory, check out Deviants or Deviations, well, this is where you have the Butterfly's Misery. If the mob is not there, all you want to do is get back to the teleportation tower, change the phase or world you're in, rinse and repeat the process to first get your hands on all these Rosetta cards, then drive inside, check out the farm spot, and with a little bit of luck, one of your Deviants is going to be right there. Another amazing farm for this would be the Forsaken Monolith Teleportation Tower at, of course, the Forsaken Monolith in the final zone. As this is where you can find a Rosetta Heavy, which also drops these Cortices and V2 access cards. After you've taken them out, you simply want to get back to the Teleportation Tower, change the world, and bam, there you will have your respawn, a chance of finding it once again. This time, once again, a Cortex of level 2 and another V2 access card, so GG. Starchrom is also one of these precious resources everyone is constantly searching for, as this is, well, something you're gonna easily lose when gambling at the wish machine. Instead, you want to purchase specific blueprints, which each cost like 8,000 for a legendary blueprint. Earlier, I got my hands on the compound bow and also AWS Bullseye sniper rifle. If you open up your inventory and check out the Starchrom icon in the top right, you can press how to get, and this will bring up a list of everything you can do. Most importantly, especially early game, you want to check out the season goals. I already did the first phase, second phase, and now we're in the third phase, but quickly check this out right here. If you reach multiple stars in each week, you can also obtain different things. Not only the Starchrom right here, but also want to reset your specializations with a spec cleaner. Anyways, week 2, I picked up everything right here as well. The total, I mean, is over 2,000. While now phase 3, check it out, we get 1,000, 2,500, 4,500. Unfortunately, we can't see the fourth week, but it's very important you basically complete all these assignments to farm individual Mitsuko marks, but then also reach the stars with a total progression to claim more Starchrom. Check it out. I just get my hands on another 1,500 added. While there are some more ways to do this, Frontier Conquest PvE or Stronghold Conquest PvP, for which you're going to need a guild or hive, let's say. We've got the Stellar Planula shop, but also Territory Purification. This is something where I see a lot of people mess up. So very important, guys, you want to pick up the right Cortexes to maximize your yield every week. With a level 1, we have to deal with level 15 mobs, and each one of them will give us an output of 70 Starchrom. While with tier 2, you guessed it, we get slightly more resource. The mobs are also going to be a higher level, and then we also have the tier 3s right here, which in my opinion are the most interesting ones to use, with an output of 100 each. The weekly purification limit is 40, so you can only use 40 Cortices in total. Not everything at the same time for that almost 10k which you see on the screen right here. It's gotta be less. Even if you're playing solo, it is worth it to risk your base to take damage, possibly even get destroyed, as all the resources you're gonna need to repair it can be farmed as much as you like, while the Starchrom is limited. You have a cap every week. While recording this guide, I went from 300 to almost 6,000 Starchrom. Guys, farm the maximum every week, as much as you can. Try to do this first thing when the reset hits, because if you forget to do this, you're gonna lose a whole lot of this precious resource. Something else I don't see a lot of people talk about or take advantage of is the fishing, because man, with these you can actually make insane dishes. Let me quickly show you exactly what we're talking about right here. So the dishes which I make not only come with a double life shelf, but also with a bonus to 30% when prepared at the kitchen set with an effective ration of +50. I just picked up some morel mushrooms at my morel farm. Be sure to check out my guide, by the way, at the top right of the screen if you still need to get your hands on this precious resource. But now if we revisit the kitchen set and check out the canned seafood in oil, the type of fish which we use for the dish also impacts the effects from it. Say we go with the tipalia right here. Let's craft one of those. You know what? Let's also make one with the sucker fish. But if we open up our inventory right now, you can see that we have 4 different ones. This canned seafood comes with a swim speed of 10%, mining speed of 15%. We've got a fire rate of 10% right here, but also a crit damage boost of 5%. So it's essential you use different type of fish to experiment with the types of dishes you can make with them. Anyways, last but not least, an amazing way to secure as many controllers as you like to basically maximize your yield or loot during dungeon runs or silos, as these controllers are necessary to claim the rewards at the very end of, let's say, a boss fight or a special event completion. But these can't be just purchased from a vendor. You actually want to search for specific world events. Right now, we only have this purify to obtain Starchrom, for which you have to pick up these diamonds on the world and purify them, which turns you into a chaos state. Very tricky. But let's just quickly switch to World 1, as if you use this strategy, you can find different events in the world. Look at that. Now we have the dark side. If we click on this one and hover over the icon, comes with Eclipse Cortex of level 1, but also a controller after we've completed it. Even better if you just keep switching from one world to the next, or after you've just completed one event. Look at that. Now in World 2, we get Operation Chiron in the Red Sands area, a level 45 event with level 2 Cortex as reward, also a controller. So what you can do is basically rinse and repeat the server hopping at a teleportation tower after you've completed an event, or if you're in search for a new one, to basically get your hands on as many controllers as you like. Sometimes you can find the same mission or event over and over with, of course, the best possible rewards, while the boss in the Chiron event also has a chance of dropping tier 3 Cortex, which are the best ones to purify if you're playing solo or don't want to focus on the chaos state ones, which risk you of losing a whole lot of things. Anyways, there you have it. Everything you want to know basically to make your endgame farming as efficient as possible. To AFK farm for oil, to have all the fuel you will ever need, more damage output, survivability with better mods, and of course also maximize your Starchrom output, get the most out of it every week, and so much more. If you found this video helpful, it would be amazing if you can spare 1 second of your time and hit that like button, and of course share your thoughts about it in the comments down below. Even better, if you have some tips or suggestions for the community, be sure to leave them in the comments as well. Anyways, right now it is 4 AM out, so be sure to check out our Discord with thousands of members to continue the discussion. I want to wish you an amazing day. I'll check you in the next video or live stream. Peace.